Time for some more community-made mercenary tanks. This time around we have a set of tanks that I actually made live on stream over on Twitch. I plan to do this again, so if you want to catch one of those, go follow me over there. And if you're new to this series, this is where I take suggestions of mercenary tank ideas from you, the community, in the Discord or in the comments section below, and I make them in the game to the best of my ability. So let's get stuck into episode 11. Up first is one from the 1515 in the Discord. Called the Crusher, it is made up of the KPZ-50T's chassis with the VZ-55's turret and the gun of the T110E5. Bit of a simple one this is, a tier 10 heavy for sure, with good turret armor, with the gun of the E5 which is very powerful. The gun will shine on this turret, where the cupola is much smaller unlike its native tank. Both heavies too share 8 degrees of gun depression, so you could play it much like the two tanks that it takes its turret and gun from. The hull choice really won't change much other than having a pike nose. What would make this tank interesting is giving it a 2-shot version of this gun because of its turret choice. A 2-shot auto-loading E5 gun would spice this tank up a bit, and seeing as the reload on the gun itself is already good, the 2-shot variant would reload pretty quickly as well, much like the VZ's 490 Alpha gun already does. Whether this would be as strong as the VZ's 490 Alpha burst would be debatable, but it would make this tank at least a bit unique amongst the crowd. Up next is the Yoshi tank, taken from a YouTube comment. It combines the chassis of the Batchat 12T with the turret of the Hawk 12 and the gun of the WZ-132. Using all tier 8 light tank parts makes it clear this tank's class and tier. This combines the power of the harder hitting, higher caliber 100mm gun of the 132 with the lower profile chassis of the Batchat 12T and the fantastic 410 meters base view range of the Hawk 12. It would actually be quite a nasty tank, as this gun would be on a sneakier and more capable of spotting light tank. A very nice combination of tank parts. It looks pretty ridiculous though, but its functionality would prove to be quite interesting. I feel like it would be one of those sleeper tanks, one that not many would look at, but those who do would be rewarded with finding a great combination of view range, firepower, and concealment. Following that would be one from Blue Soda in the Discord way back when we started this whole series. He put together the hull of the Chaffee with a stock turret of the Churchill 1 and the gun of the IKV-103. This is a bit like a Stubbs, but at tier 5 and capable of using vents. It being a derp gun light tank reminds me of my first ever mercenary tank I made, called the Snag, which I've never showcased before on this channel, but here it is. Anyway, the Clang, as he called it, looks quite nice to be fair. It all comes together very neatly. It's not doing itself any favors of being a light tank with its 330 meters base view range when compared to the Chaffee's 360, but it's a derp light. At tier 5, does it really matter? You'll be swooping this thing in fast and hoping for the best. It is a tank I think would benefit from low tier HP adjustments, but we've yet to get those. If you've played the Stubbs, you already know how this thing might play. But again, you get to take advantage of some vents to help out your stats that much more. Definitely not a game breaking tank, but also not one that you want to underestimate at low tiers. Last up is sort of a bonus tank, but suggested by Blake during the stream where we made these. He suggested the Hog, a Type 95 chassis with 2 different turrets, the Panzer 38H taking the place of the secondary turret, and the Medium 3 turret taking the place of the main turret. Both of these turrets keeping their respective guns. I really like the idea of making mercs with multiple turrets like this. Quite an interesting look, and the combinations can get pretty wild. I was tempted to make one with an arty turret as a secondary turret for our April Fool's episode we just did, but I went with a massive caliber arty instead. But in terms of power for this tank, I don't think it would be anything massive, but maybe much like how the M3 Lee plays, where if something can be shot by both guns in front of you, you could just hold down the trigger and keep swapping turrets and never stop shooting. Hopefully they're pennable though, as the Panzer 38H gun might struggle, but that's the fun of something like this. You just wouldn't stop firing. Not great for your silver pockets though. I do hope to see more suggestions like these, as they are pretty fun. And there you have it. Again, these tanks were made live, so if you want to see how it's done or suggest something live, make sure to head on over to Twitch. I definitely plan on doing this again sometime. And if you have any ideas you want to see showcased, leave them down below, and I'll see you for the next installment soon. Take care.